The Horn of Africa is where history, geography, and ambition collide. This rugged peninsula, jutting out into the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, has always been a meeting point for cultures, empires, and trade routes. Its unique position has made it a crossroads, not just for people, but for the ambitions of nations near and far. This region, Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea, and Djibouti, has long been a global trade hub, thanks to its coastline along the Red Sea, a vital shipping lane. For centuries, merchants and explorers have passed through these waters, connecting Africa to the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. Every day, ships carrying oil and goods pass through, making the region a strategic prize for global powers. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait in particular is a choke point for international commerce. Any disruption here can ripple across the world economy. Ethiopia, the world's most populous landlocked country, depends on its neighbors for sea access, fueling economic and political tensions. Its growing population and economy have only increased the urgency for reliable trade routes to the outside world. This need for ports drives bold decisions and regional rivalries. Control over port infrastructure can mean economic lifelines or political leverage, and every country in the Horn feels the pressure. The Horn has become a magnet for outside powers, like the UAE, Turkey, and Qatar, each seeking influence. These nations see opportunity in the region's strategic location and are eager to shape its future to their advantage. These countries invest, build alliances, and back local actors to secure their interests. Their involvement brings new resources, but also new rivalries and shifting alliances that complicate the region's politics. The result? A grand chessboard where local and foreign ambitions intersect. Every move is watched closely as leaders weigh their options in a high-stakes game that affects millions of lives. Competition for influence adds new dangers to existing poverty and instability. For ordinary people, the struggle for power often means uncertainty, hardship, and the constant threat of conflict. The region's future is being shaped by both its own leaders and distant capitals. In the Horn of Africa, the stakes are high, and the outcome will echo far beyond its borders. Proxy wars define the Horn of Africa today, turning what might once have been local disputes into high-stakes international confrontations. The region has become a chessboard for powerful nations, each maneuvering for influence and advantage. Instead of fighting directly, outside powers back local governments, rebels or militias with money, weapons, and training. These foreign actors rarely appear on the front lines themselves, but their fingerprints are everywhere, from the uniforms worn by fighters to the advanced weaponry in their hands. The region's history of internal disputes and porous borders makes it fertile ground for this kind of interference. Long-standing rivalries and unresolved grievances are easily exploited, fueling cycles of violence that are difficult to break. Gulf rivals like the UAE, Turkey, and Qatar use the Horn as a battleground for their own competition. Their involvement is not just about regional dominance, but also about securing trade routes, religious influence, and strategic footholds. By supporting different factions in Somalia and Ethiopia, they counter each other's influence. Alliances shift rapidly, with yesterday's enemies becoming today's partners, all depending on who offers the most support. Local leaders become clients, trading loyalty for foreign support. In return, they receive resources that can help them hold on to power, but at the cost of their own independence and the well-being of their people. This backing can turn small groups into major forces, shifting the balance of power overnight. What starts as a minor skirmish can quickly escalate into a full-blown conflict with regional implications. But foreign help always comes with strings attached, access to ports, political favors, or support at the UN. These deals often benefit the outsiders more than the local populations, who see little improvement in their daily lives. Proxy wars make conflicts longer and deadlier, blurring the line between local and global struggles. The violence spills over borders, destabilizing entire regions and making peace ever more elusive. The interests of outside powers often outweigh the needs of the people. Ordinary families are forced to flee their homes, caught in the crossfire of battles they never chose. The Horn's fate is increasingly decided by those far from its shores, leaders and strategists in distant capitals, whose decisions shape the lives of millions in ways they may never fully understand. The UAE's strategy in the Horn of Africa is clear: control the trade routes, secure economic interests, and project power far beyond its borders. By leveraging its wealth and diplomatic reach, the UAE has become a key player in shaping the region's future, using both economic and military tools to expand its influence. Its investments in ports like Berbera and Somaliland give it a strategic foothold on the Gulf of Aden, one of the world's busiest maritime corridors. These ports are not just commercial hubs, they're gateways for trade, security, and political leverage, allowing the UAE to monitor and influence shipping lanes that connect Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. These ports are more than business, they're platforms for influence and potential military presence. The UAE has established security arrangements and even deployed personnel, turning commercial infrastructure into dual-use assets that can serve both economic and defense objectives. The UAE's support for Ethiopia's sea access deal with Somaliland in 2024 reshaped regional alliances. By facilitating this agreement, the UAE positioned itself as a power broker, deepening its ties with both Ethiopia and Somaliland while challenging the traditional balance of power in the Horn. Beyond infrastructure, the UAE funds and arms local allies, ensuring loyalty and protecting its interests. Military advisors, equipment, and training programs have strengthened local forces, making the UAE an indispensable partner for governments and militias seeking support. This has created a powerful bloc with Ethiopia and Somaliland, challenging rivals like Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar. The UAE's alliances have shifted the region's dynamics, creating new opportunities for cooperation but also new sources of tension and competition. The UAE's willingness to disrupt the status quo fuels both opportunity and instability. While some see its involvement as a chance for development and modernization, others worry about increased conflict and the erosion of local autonomy. Its actions have redrawn the region's political map, forcing neighbors and global powers alike to reconsider their strategies and alliances in the Horn of Africa. The Horn is now a stage for high-stakes power plays, where economic ambition, military might, and diplomatic maneuvering collide in a contest that will shape the region's future for years to come. Turkey's approach contrasts sharply with the UAE's. It relies on soft power, building hospitals, schools, and infrastructure, especially in Somalia. Turkey trains the Somali army and supports the government, gaining political leverage. When tensions rose after the Somaliland port deal, Turkey mediated, leading to the Ankara Declaration and easing a potential crisis. Turkey's role as peacemaker boosts its reputation and influence across the region. Its alliance with Somalia, backed by Egypt and Qatar, forms a counterweight to the UAE-Ethiopia bloc. Through aid, security, and diplomacy, Turkey has become indispensable in the Horn. It positions itself as a stabilizer and alternative to Gulf and Western powers. Qatar's strategy is subtle and flexible, blending financial aid, diplomacy, and mediation. It supports Somalia's central government but also builds ties with regional states and opposition groups. This broad engagement ensures Qatar always has allies, preventing any rival from dominating. Qatar often acts as a mediator, hosting peace talks and offering incentives to bring parties together. Its rivals accuse it of playing both sides, but this flexibility gives Qatar unique leverage. Closely aligned with Turkey and Egypt, Qatar counters UAE influence while keeping doors open to all. Its power comes from deep pockets and diplomatic skill, not military might. Qatar's long game is about building influence quietly, shaping outcomes from behind the scenes. While foreign powers compete, it's the people of the Horn who suffer most. Outside money and weapons escalate local disputes into devastating wars. The Tigray conflict alone killed hundreds of thousands and displaced millions. Constant conflict destroys livelihoods, disrupts trade, and drains resources from schools and hospitals. Profits from ports and resources rarely benefit ordinary people. Instability remains. Foreign-backed leaders often prioritize their patrons over their own citizens. Dependency on outside support undermines local governance and reconciliation. The region is trapped in a cycle of violence and poverty, with its people as pawns. Hopes for peace and stability are sacrificed for distant interests. The true cost of proxy wars is measured in shattered lives and lost futures. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads. Continued proxy competition means more conflict, displacement, and economic hardship. Flashpoints like Ethiopia's quest for sea access and the status of Somaliland remain dangerous. The risk of direct confrontation between regional states is real, yet a different future is possible with robust diplomacy and regional cooperation. Neutral mediators like the African Union or China could help broker lasting solutions. Addressing Ethiopia's sea access and the Nile water dispute is crucial for peace. The region's fate depends on whether leaders choose cooperation over confrontation. A stable horn could drive growth and security for all. Perpetual proxy wars will only export instability. The choice is clear, but it demands wisdom and courage that have so far been in short supply.